In today's video, we're drawing all things gardening like pretty watering cans, hanging vines, and many more. But first, I wanted to share with you how my houseplant gardening journey started. It all started with one little plant for my home, just to see if I can keep it alive. I brought it home and put it on my windowsill. The plant looked lonely, so I got it a friend, and then a few more. Then I started cutting them up and putting them in water. They grew roots and I planted them back in the soil. The plants multiplied and my house started turning into a jungle. My balcony is now completely taken over by the plants, but I tell you this, looking after these plants and watching them grow has been such a rewarding journey. And any time spent gardening is like therapy for me. And on that note, let's draw a page of little doodles of a few things around the garden. Let's start with a plant with hanging vines, something like a pothos. These plants are my favorite as they are super easy to look after. I basically water them a little every couple of days and they just grow away. And it's so satisfying to watch the vines grow longer and longer. I started with a pencil sketch and now going over in pen. The leaves on the vines can be facing in all different directions just to give it an interesting look. And I'll draw the pot peeking out from behind the leaves. And we could make it into a hanging plant by drawing some strings attached to the pot. Finally, add some details like zigzag lines to show some texture for the ropes, veins on the leaves, and some lines running down the pot. Next, a watering can. We start with two spheres, a smaller one for the top and a bigger one for the base of the can. Join them like so. A handle. Then we draw the shower head and lines connecting the shower head to the can. Now you can add some patterns or designs to the watering can for a fun look. I'm drawing a cute little flower on it and I think that looks really pretty. When drawing things around the garden, I have to draw a flower too, just because flowers are fun to draw and they make the page look happy and lively and fun. So here I started with a jar and I'm drawing a flower in it with large oval petals. It could be a poppy or anything else, doesn't matter. And later we'll add some color to our flower after we're done with all the sketches. To make the jar look like it's made of glass, I draw double lines and I draw broken lines for the stem where it meets the water in the jar. Now I'm thinking gardening tools, and two things I use a lot are scissors and ropes or strings to tie the stems to something to support them. So here I am drawing a spool of rope. I start with the top and then the base of the spool, and I draw a bumpy rectangle to show the rope, maybe some lines. Really simple but looks so cute. And I'll finish off with a piece of loose thread. For scissors, we start with two ovals and then an X connected to those ovals. Those are going to be our blades. Give the blades some shape. There's our scissors. How about drawing some dried flowers, like these dried roses that I have here, or perhaps these dried yellow flowers? Let's draw the yellow ones just because they're easier to draw, and we can draw them hanging upside down, as that's how you normally let the water dry out of the flowers. Next, we're drawing a fern. We start with the midrib or the center line and draw these long thin leaves from either side of the center line, starting with longer ones at the bottom and getting shorter towards the top, sort of making a triangular shape. Now, I'm someone who's always walking about with a cup of tea in hand, so why not draw a cute little cup with some steaming hot tea for our last little doodle for today. We can add some patterns to the cup and draw some steam coming out of it. But looking at the page as a whole, I realized that something is missing, and that is a cute little bee. So I had to draw that in too. And before we finish off, I'm grabbing one single color, a deep yellow, and coloring in some bits and pieces of our drawings, and I think that makes the page look more fun and vibrant. And the reason I often pick yellow is because it's such a happy color. It just makes the page come to life. And that's it for today, friends. I hope you found this video useful in one way or another, and if you were drawing along with me, I hope you had fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.